I truly believe there's many of us who are suffering in silence and who maybe don't know what they don't know, as the saying goes,
Yeah.
right? Like you
Oh,
could be
100%.
struggling with something and it makes your body feel overwhelmed and you start to feel like the symptoms of the anxiety, right? Where you feel hot, you feel itchy, you feel confused, you feel, oh my God,
Mm.
where am I? One of my friends recently, he was going through this and he was trying to navigate and understand how is he going to overcome it because he started to be overwhelmed by negative thoughts, right? And
Mm.
he's a personality type where if a negative thought enters his mind, it takes him time to dispel it, right? Many
Mm-hmm.
times you have to go through it. Like, you know how there's people out there that they're very prone to negative emotions. Like if they're having a bad day, maybe you and I could take maybe a couple of minutes to overcome it. We'll think of something positive. Where him and many others, they dwell on it. What did I do? Where did I go wrong? Oh my God, it's overwhelming. And he ended up in the hospital because his heart rate was increasing and increasing and increasing. And I share this story because it shows that if we're not understanding ourselves, or if we don't get an understanding or at least control over what is driving us to feel this anxiety, it can overwhelm us, right?
Oh,
So
yeah.
for you, when you were working on yourself and when you're trying to help others deal with the anxiety, parenting is such a big source of anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
Am I going to be a
Mm-hmm.
good parent? Are my kids going to grow up to be successful? If they're
Mm-hmm.
bad kids, what does that say about me? Right?
Mm.
When you're dealing with that, how do you try to quiet that voice that is maybe second guessing everything that you're doing?
Mm. Oh, okay. You ask really good questions. I do love them. um, yeah, okay. How do we quiet that voice? Um, is it okay if I just wind back a little bit? Because I love the story you shared there. So, all humans have a negative bias. It's our natural, protective, primitive instinct to notice fear or danger or problems so that we can rectify them. So, our old caveman primitive days needed that. They needed us to be alert and be on guard because that was any life threatening danger, we needed to act. So we've all got that in us still. We've got that primitive part of ourselves. Some people, I'm going to say, are better at being more alert, noticing negative things. And the theory goes, the science behind this is that every populations are meant to have different personality types. We're meant to have the people who were able to alert the tribe of danger. We also need the people who are not going to spend all their day worrying about that because they need to get on with doing other things for the people. So there's value in being someone who can notice things that are going wrong and who can alert people of things. The trouble is, we can get caught in a rabbit hole of noticing negative things, a dark hole where we can't get ourselves back out of it because all we're doing is noticing things. And this is a very primitive part of our brain. I think it's been described as 500 million years old, like, millions of years old. So maybe it was 5 million, I don't know, but a lot of years old. um, so we needed that though, but it's old and it's a primitive part of it. So when we are aware that this is the primitive part of us coming up and we're not living in the same world, the same way back then, when we're aware that our body is interpreting, our mind and body is interpreting it as danger, then we can do something about it, and we can go, oh, okay, wait a minute. I know my body's telling me I'm not safe. My mind's telling me I'm not safe, but actually, am I? And if we can get to that stage where we can reflect and ground ourselves by taking a breath, calming our nervous system, and then beginning to move out of our fear protective part of our brain dominating us and move into our prefrontal cortex, which is the logical, sensible, smart, the part of our brain, the intelligence part of our brain. If we can activate that and activate our executive functioning, we then have the ability to be rational and think it through. But if we get caught up in that old primitive part of our brain, it's irrational. It's because it's simply protecting us from dangers. So no point trying to ask it to recite a poem or anything. No, I haven't got time for that. I've got to save my life.